Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie, nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy. I musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom, to jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni. Witamy wszystkich na 297 warsztatach poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim. Dzisiaj mamy niedzielę, 29 września 2019 rok i tematem jest kontynuacja 294 warsztatu poszukiwaczy wiedzy. Jest to tłumaczenie od 27 minut do godziny 50 minut, w tym, że mamy zapas jeszcze 8 minut, tak więc jak będzie czas, to puścimy jeszcze te 8 minut. A potem podzielimy się swoim zrozumieniem lub wymienimy się swoimi spostrzeżeniami. Jeśli będą pytania, to serdecznie zapraszam, można zadawać. I cóż, i zaczynamy. Zobaczymy, co dzisiaj dr Keshe nam powie. Tak więc słuchamy.
What it means from now on, anything to do with the commercial activities of Keshe Foundation within the Mark Ray company, which is the holder of the Keshe Foundation Global in United States, stays out of our teaching. But you have to realize that Keshe Foundation China and Keshe Foundation Manufacturing in China And the Keshe Foundation in one European country stays out of this organization. This is done because of the legal situations and matters we have. Therefore, when we speak about different development technologies, is to do with the Chinese operation and our European operation, which is not under the cover of global. But as you can see, the factories of what we call Ghana and Italy will be transferred into the position of the global operation in the United States. As you understand, our purpose is to expand and deliver the technology worldwide. And in so many ways, we have become so transparent, and that transparency brings us a lot of joy. Next Thursday, when I speak to you, it'll be on the eve of the 3-day conference with world ambassadors. And in that conference, breakthrough revolutionary technologies will be disclosed and will be shown, which will be, in so many ways, will change a lot of things in a lot of ways, and it'll bring a new era in the science and technology. I've been waiting for this day for a long time to be able to bring the knowledge in its true way, because you had to learn. You had to, in a way, evolve in the knowledge to be able to understand what is to come. The science is easy, the technology is easy, but somehow it is very strange how we have been played by people out of the greed where this knowledge should have brought a lot of joys, a lot of what they call pleasures. As you know, Arman has been very instrumental to bring the American operation into work. And I remember when I met him, just about under 2013 in December, he turned up a few days before anybody else in the Sensano. Then he said, I'm here. I went to see this little short Armenian happy guy, smoke chain. And I said, my God, what have I got in my hand? And in 6 years of knowing him, it's been a great pleasure. And he said to me the first time, he was always having his telephone ringing. And I said, Mr. Arman, can you please do something? Right in the middle of teaching, he was carrying 2 phones, 3 phones in every pocket. And he said, Mr. Keshe, I can't do anything. It's my life. I said, why have you come here? Why didn't you stay in the United States? He said, I work in the stock exchange. I buy and sell shares, and every minute I can lose and win. I make a lot of money. I said, Arman, choose here or the telephones. He put the phones away. He said, I will not touch. And coming from that breed, he kept on poking at me for years. Mr. Keshe, we have to take this to stock market. You know, it has a lot of value. I said, at the moment, we are not ready. And at the end, he got it his way from the American side. All the operation you see through what we call the global is his brainchild, and is his what I call child to be born. And he wrote me a beautiful text this morning. Arman, are you there? I think you better read it yourself than I do. Are you there? Do we see him in the background?
He is a participant here, but I'm not sure if he's at his microphone right now.
Or he's awake. He's been working right away through night. For the past 48 hours, they've been going relentlessly to get this through today. The market shares and the market stock will be open on the opening up this morning under the name of the Keshe Foundation, sometimes today, Keshe Global, KFGL, as we gave it the symbol. I'll read it to you. It says, you know what happened, Mehran? Today is good day. We can call it a giving day. For the world to change. In so many ways, it is a Thanksgiving day for many of you who can now proudly not only be the Keshe Foundation supporters, you can show it how it's going to develop in the coming time across this planet. Any announcement we'll make about what is going to be done under the banner of the KFGL will be announced through the press and not through me anymore. And this brings some restrictions of talking, and we have to be very careful with it. But as I said, we gave everything we had to make sure we achieve what we wanted, to share the knowledge and the technology, and through it bring peace. And in so many ways, we have entered a new phase of sharing knowledge, and through it sharing a lot of joy with others which can enjoy the technology. At the moment, Keshe Foundation is running trials in different parts of the world for its operation, and we will keep to the same ethos, which we keep on teaching freely, and you teach on and you support your soul to evolve to reach the state that we have reached in sharing knowledge. I'm getting a lot of complaint from different groups of different nations that somebody is doing this, somebody is doing that. They have made fake documents to show they are this and they are that, and we have this, and they call themselves professors, Institute, Keshe Foundation, KF SSI. You call yourself whatever you like, as long as you are correct with the foundation and do not do what should not be done. We try to be there to listen, because each one of us is one flower and brings one beauty on the table, even though some of us may have a thorn like a rose. We'll see what happens. We'll see how we develop and how we extend our work into the work of the Keshe Foundation. As I said, we have made this journey with many of you, not just one or two. In the coming time, as you will see announcements in different packages, all those who have supported the Keshe Foundation along its way over time will be what I call thanked for their participation in bringing the foundation according to what as group decided will be. So some of you who've been with us and you can't even remember what you did, what you supported us, in the coming time will receive a small gift package of thanks from KF for what you've done for the foundation. Some of you might think it's good, some of you might think it's not enough, but that all depends on the greed of the man. In so many ways, in packages, in the coming months, you will see arrives at your door. This is for us to tell you thank you very much. Some of you might be expecting you've done too much and not received. It's just that we might have forgotten, or we are in the process of doing a lot of things. Somewhere down the line, you might be tagged in a different way, but the management of these things, everything has to be correct. Everything has to be fair, and in that way, we try to thank you for everything you've done for the foundation. And we don't have any other way. We gave you the backgrounds, we gave you everything else, and now we thank you as is tradition in the body of the man. In a way, as a friend of mine said in what you call it in China very recently, he said, I hope the red package is not very big. I cannot put it in my pocket. Depends on the size of the pocket. As you know, we have trials started in China. We see good successes, beautiful successes. I was in Guangzhou last week, and where the trial started, and we have seen a man in a wheelchair in less than 3 days out of the wheelchair. And very, very amazing. By the 4th day, the man who came in the wheelchair wants to drive off to go home. These are the beauties of the new technology, and I thank our partners in China. They try to play the same game as here, those who are paid by the paymasters in Belgium, and unfortunately they lost heavily. We will announce collaboration and cooperation with many Chinese entities, as China is owned foundation and still a free work for us. And we cannot hide it because of the American. This is the beauty of the work you will see from us, is that there is no intellectual rights. The intellectual rights belongs to all of us through the Keshe Foundation, and we benefited on both sides of the coin. To us, there are no communists, and there are no Democrats or liberal or conservative, black or white. We are all the same color, and we are all in a simple way obey the same laws. And we try with this technology to make it much easier for all of us, to be able to share. Next week, hopefully next week, after the conference in Vienna, we will release the name and address of the hospital in China, that all of you who suffer from Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, epilepsy can go to the hospital and it becomes a center of excellence for us in what I call scientists who are well, what I call educated in the knowledge. One of them, when he saw the results on Sunday in Guangzhou, sent us a message on Monday that they are preparing to spend, to build a 1,000-bed hospital for cancer research in China for Keshe Foundation. In China, the gifts are big, but the expectation is high too. And in the process, as are seeing the what we call the Guangzhou hospital is taking its shape, and we are training doctors to understand how to work with this technology. And now we go to a bigger next step, which is next week, next 27, 28, 29, the area leaders of the Chinese government officials will be present for the introduction of the technology. Unfortunately, I cannot be there as I'm attending the conference in Vienna, but we'll be there in different ways and forms, and all our healthcare process at this moment through professional, what we call top scientists in China, will be looked after and set up. So the knowledge and the help in the medical side will give you everything with a what we call a Chinese telephone number. You can call, you can book yourself in, and if you need it, we will add new technologies in the coming weeks and months into it. And as I said, there's a possibility that on 8th of August, I'll attend a large conference in Iran for presentation of technology in agriculture. It'll be a pleasure to return back, but either way in April, we'll be back in Iran for presentation of the new space technology. My advice to our friends on both sides is very simple. We are opening the first lines of true space knowledge and technology now that we have learned, and we try to protect it, that it becomes a tool for peace and a tool for all of us to pleasure the beauty of this knowledge. How it will turn up, we will see, and how we extend our knowledge beyond the lines of greed and color and race to as one human. And I think it's time for us to move on. It's time to truly spread the knowledge across the planet and prepare mankind for excursion, which he has been looking into skies for thousands of years. As I said, I thank all of you. It's not just one or two. Some of us are new, what I call friends through the knowledge, and some of us been there from day one, and some of us been there much longer than that. In any case, as of today, we have started the journey, as Arman said. Now we even sell the knowledge of God and universe in the American Stock Exchange. In so many ways, have and bear in mind the prices of the what I call we have paid for this knowledge is very dear. Attempt on my life, killing of Fabio, state of Naomi, and many, many other things which has happened to many of us. We should be graceful. Do not forget, and in so many ways, do not forgive. But let the souls to bring the balance. One of my biggest fears was during the process of going through these courts that somehow the justice will not stand. The way they threatened and manipulated people, they were trying to threaten our lawyers, but he stood firm. A father and son, they stood solid firm behind us, and they were very protective of us, and they managed to bring it here. I thank again our lawyers in Belgium, and I'm sure from what we see, we will be returning to Belgium. But state in a totally different frame of work. Are there any questions before we go to the teaching?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I'm wondering, I guess there's certain questions you can't answer according to how the legality.
How the game is played, yeah.
So this will be a sort of, yeah, it's a different game that we're playing now in a way. So,
but you have to watch this way. We always said, if we don't want to answer, we don't answer.
That's right.
So
yeah,
we have a track record.
That option.
Yeah. Now we're practicing it.
It's been very rare in the past that you refuse to answer a question or haven't been able to, but we see now that it's a different situation. So just to remind people to ask the correct questions if possible, or we'll find out if they're correct.
If you have any questions regarding investments and these things, what we call kfgl.global, which is the website of the new company, there are links in there for investors and shareholders. Just go through there and send your questions or whatever. Or you can go directly into the American stock market and buy shares. But these shares are not the true value till everything is done. And we have set a price for what we think that it's worth, not for what is there. The company used to be a laundry company. Now this is what they call a space program. So it takes time for the market to get used to it. Any inquiries on that, please go on the website of the Global KFGL. The RVBR, which is the symbol of the company, is on the website. Post your what you call information there, and you'll be answered through that channel. But don't expect an answer tomorrow. Maybe if we have time, we'll try to do it next week or the week after. You got to understand there's a lot of expansions and a lot of work going, and we shrunk the number of the offices in Keshe Foundation drastically in past couple of years. And now what you call Global has to set up its own structure as it's an independent financial organization and nothing to do with the Keshe Foundation work. We kept it very clean, but as I said, we went from foundation to find what I call the work and the value, and in that way there are a lot of interconnections. It cannot be changed. We cannot separate it, and it still will carry on for centuries to come. And this is good that we can share it that way. Anything to do with what we call Mark Ray Corporation, which is the owner of the KFGL United States Incorporated Company. Please go to the website and ask questions there. If sometimes somewhere we cross, it's because it belongs to both. We cannot hide it because it is somewhere else. Go ahead, please.
Okay, we have a hand up here. Dimitri has his hand up. Go ahead, Dimitri.
Thank you, Rick. Mr. Keshe, did I hear you correct? And you said forget, but in many ways don't forgive. Did I mishear that?
Yes, the time of forgiving and forgetting has gone in the physical body of the man. You have to allow it, the soul of the man, to balance the situation.
Okay.
You understand? Because in the dimension of physicality, there is a lot of suffering. Where the souls don't go through that. Souls find the solution among themselves where both are covered. We do not forgive because it's not my right to forgive what I've seen, the suffering people around us has gone through. It's for them. We cannot forget because if you forget, we make the same mistakes and we allow the abusers to take shape and do their job. We got to remember that we don't get ourselves in the same position, otherwise we go back on the same track. As many of you know, Keshe Foundation went through a turning point by the death of Fabio. And the turning point came that we realized a simple thing. For some people, life has no value except financial means. And in so many ways, we walked away the course of the Keshe Foundation with the assassination of Fabio changed. We call it assassination because we have evidence. Even Italian police is convinced of it. They're trying to cover it up for different reasons, but we'll open the hands in regarding that matter too. As what we see now, as late as a few months ago, there was another attempt on assassination. We're just trying to open it up and see what happens legally. Again, by the same people, most probably. We cannot forget, because forgetting would allow us to make the same mistakes. And we cannot forgive because if we forgive those people who done wrong, they carry on thinking they done the right thing, they go to the next person. You can go to your soul and set the things balance, and it will judge itself, it will come to it. But I'm an old man, and I've learned one thing. If you don't stop people who do wrong, they think it's their right to do wrong. And then you become second-time victim. Then it is wrong. And in so many ways, being aware, not forgetting, and not forgiving has two benefits. You don't make the mistake, and by the other, you do not let them to make the mistake and abused by somebody else, or from them on somebody else. If you remember, we went through, as I've said many times, a lot of pain with the Sterling case. Nobody understood the potential of what that guy was. We knew from our soul, we knew the scale was much bigger. And as you heard, even one of the richest men in the world now has been brought into continuation of that circle. And we saw another man supposedly hung himself in prison in the United States. If I would have allowed Sterling case to go, with what knowledge we had from our securities and international securities, it would have been a massive mistake. As Rick and I and a couple of us around here were there some 3-4 years ago, we blew our top up. The damage they did, and then if you remember, they brought the websites down, everything else, we put it up. Then they came out with a new trick of, what was it? Hope and no hope and everything else, because you have to understand how these people came in. These are all beneficiaries. They were part of the providing the children down the line. Why did suddenly facts about cash came? Because the main boss lost his income. We saw Susan and Hope and the others just popped out from nowhere, out of nowhere suddenly. Because, as we know, they were all the dealers in children. If I would have forgotten and forgiven everything in that time, we wouldn't have got 120,000 people on the international warrant arrest. If you imagine, if they touch one child each, that's 120,000 children. If they touch 2 or 3, you talk running into millions of our children. What we did, and is still going on, the case of Sterling is not finished. Now we've seen a man dead in America because he was a key player. He was carrying the website where, with a special code, they were sharing information of the children. And strange enough, all of it comes through Antwerp. The boss who pretended to be whatever was actually controlling in free energy code. Never used the term of free energy ever in respect to Keshe Foundation. Plasma technology. Why they call it the free energy, these people with red circle and Sterling were all in the same group, and then we saw the others, is because it's the free energy of the youth they were taking. That was the nickname. In the interrogations and documents we see, now we know how they chose the free name of free energy. It was the energy they were taking from children freely, bunch of old men. And I cannot forgive, and I could not forget the same process. We saw one of the most, what do you call it, previous guys of the whole lot turning out of Switzerland under a sports teacher, teaching children football. And in every shape or form, they try to get into the Keshe Foundation, just trying to, but not forgetting, we start preparing ourselves to protect ourselves. And by not forgiving, we were aware that we have to do something that does not go to another child. There is an estimate in national securities, the number of children we have saved from the hand of Hope, Suzanne, Red Circle, Sterling, and the rest runs to just under 10 million children. You can imagine how large the scale is. I could have said the same with Rick. I remember Rick shouting at me, "Mr. Everything, I told you don't say that." And I said, "Rick, we're going." If you would have forgotten about it, and me just because they brought us down twice, how many million children would have been suffered, raped, killed, and everything else by these people? We didn't forget, we didn't forgive, and the fruit of it are tens of thousands, millions of children safe. None of you understood the gravity of what the Sterling case was. We found out he was a key man. He was very key man. He came here to see the people who were the same people as they intimidated for the Keshe Foundation technology to be given to them. And now they're all in panic. More and more of them are getting arrested. There is not a week passes by which more names do not come on the list. It was a syndicate. It was a way of living for these people. They change children the way they change their clothes. And people like, you know, in Antwerp were part of it. You will understand very soon more and more about how these children were trafficked. We couldn't forgive. I could not forgive myself for walking away just because the Keshe Foundation was there. It could have been damaged. And I cannot forget because I know what has been achieved. It's amazing if you follow the way we are following from the, what I call the fallout of the Sterling case. Sterling is still giving information which people could not imagine exist. The ways they traffic children, the way they use internet so extensively. When Red Circle was the webmaster of the Keshe Foundation, we don't know what he's done. So these people have to answer. We cannot forgive. It's impossible. I cannot forgive myself if I would have seen another child touched. I was telling this to my son this morning. And that is, you know, these people, I think they are very big till you catch them, and they are innocent and they didn't know. We saw it with Saddam Hussein, we saw it with the other leaders once they're captured. They will claim the same. They will claim innocence, they will claim a lot of things. But I think the time of this process has to carry on, and we'll see what happened. You should understand what happened to us very recently. We're trying to keep a very calm face about it. Many of you have not received your goods. And I was wondering, because I concentrated on China, because China is an important way for us. And in past few hours, I've noticed what is not delivered is kept not to be delivered deliberately. Many of you writing to me, we don't get this, we don't get that. I don't see this. I'm out of the daily operation of the Keshe Foundation. But I get messages here and there. And I was wondering why it's not done. And I saw why it's not done, deliberately not done, to discredit the foundation. I saw rows of materials which is there to be done. For months it's not done. And I'm a very patient man and a diplomat, and I know how to use diplomacy. Many of you, you don't receive this, you haven't received that. And when I look what's on the table and I ask the question, hasn't been done for months and months. How come when there's a stock in the Keshe Foundation, it doesn't get delivered? What's the purpose? Now we are understanding, we're opening a lot of things in, and we're understanding more, and we take everything very, very gradually, step by step, to correct it. I get told, Mr. Keshe, there is this, there is that. There is a lot of you who have been waiting for power generators. We cannot, and now we may have finally find a solution to the power generator security, or what it is, not to run out of control. You will receive it. If you came to the foundation for it, you will receive it. It's just that there were a lot of things had to be sorted, and now we are in a stage we can show it and sort it. You should not be in the point of we wanted this, we wanted that. Now I can see why. I've been too busy to establish the foundation internationally, and as we say, I didn't take my eyes off the ball. It's just the ball was painted different color. And we'll sort it out. Now I'm more or less back on it in so many ways, in a bigger way than before. My position in China is completed, and now we've seen Arman completing his part. You will see a different Keshe Foundation in coming days or weeks, and I apologize, many of you writing and wanting this and that, and I'm doing this, I'm going to do that. You're right, but on the other hand, you have to understand, we live on the ethos of work of the foundation, that the people around us work the same as we do. And it seems that there is some misunderstanding of me about the human greed, and it has to sort itself through the soul, and it will sort it out itself through diplomacy by the souls. Just understand that correcting the position is what at the moment we're trying to do. And as I said, I could not forgive myself if I would have walked away from the Sterling case. And I could not forget that it was me who was responsible for so many lives. If you remember, they said, why is Keshe after this all the time it speaks about pedophiles? Because We had a lot of information, and a lot of information was put on the internet teaching in a coded manner. You got to understand, I met with one of knowledge seekers sometime a year ago, a gentleman from the structure of the national security at a very high level, and he told us, Mr. Keshe, I've been present when the world leaders discuss you and your technology. So if world leaders know about us and the way we do, we should look after those who have no access to the world leaders, and they need, because we never become leaders, we become more or less partners in keeping the space of man clean from its what are called dirty works of the others. To what extent I can do, every time I get a security report on regular basis and I see the number of names added to the list of Sterling, I say it was worth it. I didn't forget and I didn't forgive. Any other question?
We have someone with their hand up that I don't know who they are, but we can perhaps allow them to.
What is the name?
It's a Gmail address. It's Satirashid.
What?
Satirashid is the name. I can't tell. It's a Gmail name. It could be.
We don't need, if they're too shy to say who they are, they can write a question on the panel and answer it.
Okay.
If there is any question.
I think they dropped out there when you mentioned that, so.
Yes, you see.
Oh, actually, they just put their hand down. They're still here. Okay.
They can write their questions in the background.
They might have accidentally had their hand up as well.
Okay, any other question?
Just checking on the live stream here. Trevor asks, well, it's not related to what you're speaking about, I don't think, but he would like to know what Mr. Keshe's opinion is about this latest UFO video near the Iran-Pakistan border.
I'm not aware of it, any video.
I would have to look at the video and see.
You know, when you live in China, it's so safe. You don't see a lot of things which I want to tell you. It's amazing how the Chinese blank out bits. So I gave up watching, because when you watch about the history of China and what they do in there and their culture is much better than the news man has made. So I have become, in 2 years of living in China, totally different man regarding a lot of things. I take my space and time. Life is not worth it to fighting for these little stupid things. I know there is a lot of intention. We thank in so many ways the American administration for the right step towards peace. In what I said a few weeks ago, bolting out the Bolton is the only way towards peace, and we see it happening. And as I said, you will read the work of the Keshe Foundation in respect to a lot of our operational work around the world. in so many ways, I can speak a lot about the successes in China, but I cannot tell you anything about the successes in global anymore, and in what they call the new company. And it goes back to me, somebody sent me a fantastic video. Mr. Keshe, you become China, 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 China. Because we cannot speak. I wish the Americans were as open as what we could speak about the Chinese in the stock market. But we are aware of technological development. We are aware of advancements in technology. And in so many ways, if powerful nations understand that their power will come to be a tool for peace, it is not a bad thing. I heard the Americans have parked their warships some 700 miles out in the Indian Ocean, not to be reached by some systems which other nations have. But the truth is, 700 or 7,000 is no difference. Man should not have these technologies to park it anywhere. And it's amazing how for centuries we have always fought each other. We see murdering as end up, that I can do what I like because it's not there anymore. But if the world leaders understand that the worst thing they can do is to kill someone. Because when a guy is here, you see his physical matter, you see his physical body, what it's going to do to you. God forbid when you release the soul and it's got the same intention. This is what our leaders do not understand. Those people who carry killing other people and thinking we do this and create suffering and the rest, the worst thing you can do to a man is to kill a man. It comes out of the ignorance of the man. Because now up to now, you had a mouse in your hand. If you understand the power of the soul of the man, you release the lion. And this lion has no dimensions, and he can routine. You got to understand, look at those who did wrong in world leaders, how the strength of the energy, or what we call the balance of the fields through the children, has paid off. A lot of you don't know about the history life of Saddam Hussein, if you remember how they got him. But very easily you pass the children. His children did more crime than he did. And you see what happened to him. And you should see what happened to his children. These people who think they do this, I said, very touch. You see what Red Circle has done to us and everything else? Their children and grandchildren are watching. You will see, you will understand very soon how the thing works, how the system works. And this is the way the structure of life is. There's no use parking a, God knows, dropping a plane and the other one destroying it because they're gonna find the latest technology. The thing is, if you manage to bring one of the most advanced technologies on the ground, It's just to show the force. You should have therefore you have a bigger knowledge, more powerful knowledge. You've done that. This is what most of you miss. In a way, when a nation loses or a nation shows its technological advance over being a car, being anything else, the point is not seeing that material being captured. You missed the ball. The technology which has overcome it shows what you capture is obsolete. So you have to have a bigger knowledge, better knowledge. Never look at these wreckages you see. Look at the technology which is above it, which has managed to do these things. I sat and watched so sadly a couple of weeks ago the hard work of many Indian scientists, and they lost the stupid thing in the last few minutes. They were landing on the moon. What went wrong? We've seen it with the Americans losing it, but there was so much hope of a nation. If you watched it, the moon landing of the Indian scientists, it was heartbreaking. It was absolutely heartbreaking. They spent so much time to get there to assess everything. What went wrong? Why cannot the scientists from NASA and the Russian Space Agency share this knowledge with the Indians? Build on, not to let suffer on. We saw the same failure with a simpler version with the Israelis a few months ago. They tried to land. They lost. It was a very big thing. The whole nation psychology changes. We shouldn't let others to do whatever. We should, as nations, build, support each other. You got to understand, it was very amazing if you watch the Indian Prime Minister and how the head of the operation was trying so gracefully to explain to him, Prime Minister, we lost it. It's when we make one nation, if we make mistake in one place, we tell the others. Doesn't matter which part of the world. You got to realize, even with splitting the foundation now with the work of the American, Chinese, and the European, we still transfer knowledge freely. To me, it's not always American, you get value in it, or here I get less. It doesn't make any difference. But now what we learn in China, we share in America. What we share in America, Keshe Foundation, we share in China. Nobody can tell us borders anymore. We shouldn't see the failure of America. We shouldn't see the failure of India. We shouldn't see the failure of Iran or Israel or the rest. Because their failure is our failure. When the Keshe Foundation in flight test in United States, it's the Chinese Keshe Foundation who lost, because if they had the knowledge, they have to share it. You will see a new scientific structure with this, what has happened today. As we share knowledge freely, in one country become value in the stock market, and another country becomes value in the science. And I'm watching this very carefully. You got to understand, I had the Keshe Foundation in all three countries, in all three dimensions. To me, they are my children, and a father loves the same. So when I give the knowledge to our research people in Arizona, I give the same to the Chinese and see who comes up with what, and as everything comes to me, the other ones get it too. So they come and say, excuse me, Mr. Keshe, this was the Chinese invention, finding out. Now it's gone to the Americans. I said to them, simple, did you complain, but by mistake I gave the Americans information to you? No. There's a lot of mistrust in the world of politics and space and scientific. And with the setting up of the Keshe Foundation the way we done now, we break all the barriers. And because we are spreading it right across, patterns to do with the space technology, new era, has no value because it's all been heard and done by many people. In a very short time, you will understand what the new inventions will affect the world. I developed these technologies as early as one of the technologies you will see coming out in the next few weeks, especially in the conferences, and is a miracle. I developed this, what age was I? 14, 15? And some 45 years I have kept it. And now we release it. This technology is so simple, but if you understand the way we understood the work of the universe, mankind should have seen it thousands of years ago. It's a very, very delicate position in evolution of science, and there are a lot of things which for you was not possible or could not be done. Now it is getting done. In our Chinese operation, we will deliver cars which don't need charging anymore. In our Chinese operation, we are negotiating with the mobile phones which does never need to be charged. With one of the major corporations in the world, we have entered negotiation. In our Chinese operation, we see, and it can be done, which is done in a way years ago. I did it initially in 1978, 78 in Wythenshawe College in Manchester, when I was in college. The embedded power supply for microchips. And now we are bringing it out. Now I'm releasing the technology. What this means, a chip itself supplies itself at the same time with the AC and the DC current as it needs it. New plasma systems allows you to do that. This will revolutionize the chip industry. And this technology will go to a highway. The whole printed circuit changes. You place printed, what they call the chips or instruments, like the liver and kidney in the body of the man. The environment of the stomach creates the operation condition for all these organs. They're not just there encircled. Your skin it's actually what it creates, the fields that they can operate in. So this new technology which come up will merge very soon, hopefully in the next year or two, which I hope we can share with what you call the Chinese operation. You don't need any more printed circuits. The way we have systems communicating with each other, chips without connection at the right time will interact. This is something which, when I made the first radiation detector as a final project in the college, I could see it can be done. Because I had to create the radiation and nobody was prepared to give me radioactive material. So I created the first radioactive material out of the same position, communication between systems. And now we see this coming up. I explained to you the change in the world of science in the next few months. The way we will release will be amazing. The interaction of the electrical systems in a plasma condition is very much different than what you can envisage. I was with the highway people a few days ago, and I could see the shock and the surprise in their top scientists and their voices that you don't need to buy, for example, copper for your circuits, because you have a technology, you can produce as you need the material, the purity you need, and how you can play with it to them is beyond their imagination. But if you've been in the labs and you've done the work, you see how it works, it can be done. The evolution in the science which we will head through the Chinese operation, and equally, hopefully, will be shared with our other sides, which, you know, I don't know which pocket is this pocket anymore. I'm an old man, very, very old man. You don't want to know my age. When you're old, you don't know which pocket you put what, so the grandchildren put their hands in the pocket and they take what you left with the other ones with the other ones. But at the same time, it's all the same grandchildren. And these technologies will be released in a massive way. I think in the next very short time, what we call the world of science will take a new course through sharing of the knowledge without boundaries through one organization. I think very soon a lot of us says, oh, I have the very last patents ever submitted as patents when we were stupid humans. And it'll become historical to own patents. In so many ways, I can open a lot of knowledge, a lot of things to people, to the scientists, that they can benefit by it. You got to realize that, tell me why we're doing this. You got to remember a man of 60, a man of 80 who is, let's say, a farmer, does not understand, even though he can make cancers, how to help himself with a cancer or whatever. So these structures we set up are needed to look after those who are not knowledgeable with all aspects of the science. And this is important for us. We open the door of knowledge that we all benefit by it. And there couldn't be a more glorious day than the 19th of the 9th, 2019. And it is, if you were a follower of a certain path, it couldn't be any more luckier, both the 9 and 19. And in so many ways, we have brought the knowledge, and it's so beautiful. I can tease one to make money out of it, and I can tease one to say, do not share it. But at the same time, it comes from the same soul. I will introduce you to new technologies very soon. New technologies that even in sci-fi films you've never seen, but now you have. We are developing, well, not developing, actually I'm repeating what I developed. Now we're going to the direction where in China you will see the new systems where we don't need to do open heart surgeries. We do not need to do any more what I call injections. If you have an infection in your blood, there is no need to take antibiotics. The new systems which we have developed, and it will be shown for the first time in Vienna conference, are the systems of the heartbeat of a man. The systems which have emotion, and the systems which they can think for themselves, and are keyed in one direction for bringing balance to the body of the man, emotionally, psychologically, and physically. You will feel it. The new technologies will be a black box technology. We will not open it. You will see the working, but no way the inside this will be disclosed. And those who work with us closely understand this. And so you will see what new breakthrough technologies, power supplies for indefinite cycles will cause. This will be shared both primarily with the Chinese company, which is we are negotiating with, that once the car leaves the factory, it never needs to be recharged. If you buy a Tesla car, you pay a huge amount of money for it because they guarantee you so much power at any of their stations. They charge you for the fuel 20 years ahead. With this new technology, you don't pay that fee. With this new technology, you don't need that many batteries. And with this new technology, man becomes honest with itself. Because what we do not see is that they tell you is a green car, is a battery operated, is chargeable at any station. But what have we done? As I've said many times before, we have put the power stations in the mountains. At least when we've used to tank the car, we had better efficiency. Now we're burning, doing everything else away from that, what they call our site, but in fact we're producing more pollution than the other way. Why the major governments are trying to come up with this green car business is because they're trying to bring the pollutions down in the cities. But what is overlooked, especially with the Chinese operation, is that these poisons get blown back from the power stations which are in near cities anyway, but with a bigger effect. By moving the problem, you don't solve the problem. And I see that especially in Beijing, in Shanghai. We see it in many cities around the world, in New York and Tehran. By building power stations and say we have an electric car, you haven't solved the problem. You're still burning it, but more of it to get the same result. So, well, as is our habit in the foundation, we have solved this problem very quickly now through our different operations. These cars, you will see very, very rapidly, the development will be very rapid. And the prices of these electric cars will fall drastically, very drastically, because a lot of things inside them changes. And the mobile phones especially, what is one of the biggest fear of our mobile phone people, that it creates waves. With this new technology, we absorb those waves, never it reaches the body of the man. It becomes much safer, but you don't need to charge it either. We can extract, for example, at the moment, one of the beauties which I enjoy, and you'll see it very soon, is the dialysis machine. I got to know the pain of the dialysis when I was very young, by a young girl, by two brothers and sisters in London, where they're literally crying. They had to go to a clinic 2-3 times a week just to put the injection, and then the point of the what they call entry to the body just get infected, and the rest. With the new technology, we don't need to do that. We can attach to the body and transfer all the poisons directly from the body. And in that process, you give a rest to the kidney to repair itself. The intrusion into the skin of the man by operations and by injections is over. We will show this in China operation. We already have a start showing it. If you see the videos I see, and the patients which these doctors are treating through our technology, is a marvel of science. And then has no patent. But we respect each other's integrity of knowledge. The doctors bring their knowledge, and we bring as scientists our tools, and it's amazing. A man walks pushed in with a wheelchair, and less than 3 days later, he can stand up himself. And the new systems which we bring in very rapidly now that are what we call development. I'm back in the lab, and this is where I'm home. Finances, as I said, has gone to the Americans. They were happy to make money with it. At the end of it comes to the foundation for us to benefit by all of us. And the Chinese have started their work. Now I'm back in the lab, and the latest technologies you have ever seen will come out. We are seeing it, it's there, we're operating them. And in so many ways, there's an old American say, you have seen nothing yet. We had to wait for a lot of things to structure itself, like Americans finding out they're not a superpower. With all their superiority, they have to park their ship 700 miles away in case the other guys get to it, but they don't understand that the guys are sitting actually underneath of them. This is where they wanted them. You got to understand, A ship in the open seas has no address. And this is shame why we do these things. And with the new technology, we are not looking at watering the plants and hectares of it. These things are old-fashioned. There's still a lot of you do, but when you fly over hundreds of kilometers of land and you ask the farmer, excuse me, do you have, let's say, 100 million square meter of land, now try to water it 3 times a week with the gas water. He will laugh. So the new technology is different. We have developed technologies now that we elevate the soul of the seed. How many times do you want me to feed the soul? We understand in the deeper sense the knowledge, and in understanding this, we can change a lot of things in a simpler way. When I used to go to Kazakhstan, we had offices there, and in Moscow years ago, I used to go, as I said this before, in the official ministers and the rest of them, and I could see all these secretaries are very busy. I thought, how can it be? There's nothing happening in these buildings. What are these guys doing? And they look, yes, can I help you? And then one day I stuck my head behind the screen. They were all playing computer games. I asked a question. I said, what's going on here? But the guys, the ones who were doing work actually, they were working in other agencies or other offices. They were bringing the work to do here because there was nothing to do in the ministry. Because they used to pay them $20 a month, and they were earning $200 in other jobs they were doing. And I said to them one of them, what's going on? He says, they seems to be paying us, and we seems to be working. And this from now on, in the structure of the human race will come. We seems to have what we call, in a way, turning point of wanting to have the change, and we seems to listen to our leaders that these changes comes only through killing and war. But we know the truth is somewhere else, and it's coming up. In a way, many of us in the coming years, we go to work not to sit at home. And because we go to work, we go and do what we enjoy to do. And we become more innovative. We become more intellectually open-minded. And we make things which we could not think of as possible to make. If you understand the application of the 3D printers, now with the new technologies, what you printed from the stage 1 has a 4th dimension to it. You can give it the soul from the time you print it. And it's possible now we can do. If you printed a cup, if you made a doll for your child, it can, with knowledge we have, to embed the soul in it, that truly the child enjoys having a doll. The knowledge is beyond what you can imagine. But now is the reality we're going to release. And all we need to do is to understand the truth about the creation. As I said, once the two sides of our operation open up, which is today, is done in America and we done in China some times ago. In China, we are going totally independent. We are not even relying our cooperation with the government. They're too slow. It's too much. We can make a decision and do it ourselves, or we can make somebody somewhere make a decision, or I can make an announcement somewhere that some official somewhere will sign a paper. It takes too long. So the Chinese operation now is totally in the hand of the foundation. We're not relying on anything else that they signed. What they signed to, if they have time, if they got the confidence to do it, or if they find a guy being back from the holiday, no, I don't need a holiday. As I said, we have a good partners in different sectors and we are collaborate. They wanted me to be in Guangzhou to see the first cycle of the medical side started, to support the doctors technically that everything is correct. I spent with pleasure a week with them, and now we see this morning the pictures coming from Guangzhou is shocking. I saw the man, I saw two men, very, very rich, very scientifically developed, extremely intelligent, but they're hit with the disease. And the strangest thing is, I was explaining this to the doctors, because doctors only look at the tablets on what I do, and it's a shock to them. I saw these young doctors, when they were hearing things, it was just like putting a match into their brain and they're teaching. I explained to them, you have to understand the situation of your patient when he goes through this phase, and it is, once your patient up to before putting the door, a foot through the door here, they were planning how to die, what's going to happen to the loved ones they're going to leave behind. People think somebody who's got a Parkinson and sits and is quiet and doesn't talk and is old cannot walk. He doesn't think. In his brain is a warfare. It's worse than the Third World War. You can imagine his loved one he can touch, loved ones he cannot talk to. At the same time, in a slow way, he has to submit to death. Psychologically demolishes them. It's the worst thing can happen. What have I done, my children? I cannot even talk. I cannot do anything. And then you give them the tools to live. And do you know what the guy said to his wife the first thing? We're going on holidays. He wants to go on a holiday. You give back hope. You give back life. And then the doctors have to understand the angers which come with this. 2 years of my life, 10 years of my life, I've been on a wheelchair. Somebody's microphone is open in the background. You get the condition that there is no hope, it's gone, I submit to this death, slow death and everything else, because you have to find that some people who have certain diseases can commit suicide to take their own life. These people cannot even move themselves. And now he has a chance to live. Now the whole psychology of finished, now it has to become to restart. It's absolute commotion in their lives, in their head. I said every time the gentleman stood, he had to close his eyes. I said to them, the reason he closes his eyes, he's dizzy. Because he cannot speak in a way, say, he couldn't explain to it. I said, you have to give him time. He frequently closes his eyes because the brain has moved, the inner ear has moved, he's got dizziness. And they couldn't understand. And one of the first things after 3-4 days, when he was having his hand all the time, closing his eyes, was, I'm dizzy. I said to doctors, you see, I'm inside his brain. I know how he feels. And you give hope back. And you see them changing. And gift of life is the responsibility of every Keshe Foundation followers. Those who exchange it for different things, they have to respond to their own souls. But the knowledge, now that we've taken all the breaks off, because whatever happens in everywhere is at the end of it, end up in the hand of the foundation, is that the new technologies which we will reveal in step by step in different nations conferences, we will not show you the system. As I said, it's a black box. But where we develop it and the way we develop it will guarantee world peace. I make the Americans depending on the Chinese, and I make Chinese depending on the Americans like air they need to breathe. I make mankind to be one. And through the science and now where we are, it will happen. When you have a totally different structure in what you call world of health, world of energy, there is no need for. One of the biggest problems with mankind is that he has always looked for bigger and bigger and bigger. The world of universe works on the smaller and the smaller and the smaller. When you have a truck, you can hit one building. When you have a neutron, you can take the whole city. If the world of scientists understand this, if the world leaders understand this, they will understand the power of release, the knowledge of release in the world of plasma makes this planet a child's play. They are looking for a bigger and a bigger and bigger, and I look for a smaller and a smaller and more powerful. There is an old English say, it's not the size which counts, what you do with it makes the difference. And you can do a lot with the plasma technology and its minute fields. More than you can do with aircraft carriers. With one neutron, I can paralyze a whole aircraft carrier. And I still have energy left to handle 10 more. This is the beauty of it. And the beauty of the technology is that even you, as followers of the Keshe Foundation for years, have to rethink, have to understand. One of the first powerful stations, working stations you ever seen was the small 4 reactors which Arman made, and we stopped the system in Christmas as a Christmas gift. If you can reduce the size of that reactor by another 10-fold, you can literally lift the whole planet. We will introduce very soon into the spaceship dimension systems which will stop any meteorites or asteroids to hit or enter the Earth atmosphere. We extend the protection to all the what we call rays of the sun, which comes in different dimensions at the dangerous time. And there's a lot of rays which enters the Earth atmosphere we're not even aware of, which cause specific problems. And now that we have the knowledge, we'll open the ways to it. It'll be beautiful to be able to land the human race on the moon or anywhere else, or have a party in the middle of nowhere in a space, and they all understand it. And well, in a way, I wish, and this is one of my wishes, that all of you will have it. You remember the old Volkswagen Beetle, looks like a spaceship. Volkswagen bring it back with just chairs and the body in it. We all become a spaceship travelers. The new technologies which will be released, in so many ways you don't need beds to sleep in. I will explain this, the new science which will come out. You got to understand, if you can transfer the energy to your soul, do you need the rest time, as it can recharge the whole physical body in no time. These systems are well tested. I did not hide technology from mankind. Mankind didn't have the comprehension of it to understand, to be able to use it the right way. You don't give a gas cannon to a little child with a matchbox in his hand. He has no understanding of the use of both and what they can do with each other. We take the match away from the man which is killing and the rest, then we give him the gas bottle to play with, that he can do a lot of things with. As of past few weeks, we start releasing a lot of knowledge which is unknown to man. You can't even think of it. When we made graphene, we became a terrorist. Now imagine what I can do with you and change your whole blood in 1 second to a clean blood with no infection. These technologies in the coming days, coming months will be released, but as you know, all of you are going to jump on me. You did it before, and I've proven to be right, and you've proven to be right. We don't say who's wrong, but I gave the key to the government. You all jumped. I was called a traitor. He's the same as the rest. And then I brought it to you lot. You lot developed it more than the government. So you got 1 point ahead of them. in the conferences of the ambassadors. This, you have moved on. We brought the two governments and citizens together to watch what is to come. Those of you who are present in the different conferences around the world, you're not there just to be there. You're there, you become the watchdog for the governments. You don't show, you don't come the way it should be done. We're going to do it for our nation. Now you understand the purpose of these conferences. It's not that one crying is terrorist because they can't get it, and the other one telling me you betrayed us. Now, when you are in these conferences next week, those of you who are coming in, is your responsibility, not mine, to explain to the ambassadors, to the heads of states, to the national people who come in, what is our ethos? What is there to come? You're not just there coming to see any technology. If you come to see, you will see nothing. You come in blind and you go worse blind. If you're coming there to transfer the knowledge, the way, the ethos of the foundation to these diplomats, that's what you're there for. It's the first time as a powerful organization we dictate the term sharing of the knowledge, sharing of technology. And those of you who attend these conferences, you're the ambassadors of peace, you're ambassadors of knowledge. I don't think any of you just on the street heard about the Keshe Foundation and bought a ticket and paid the money to be there. You work on the ethos, you understand the work, and you always wanted to be, now you are to be. You have to explain. We don't know how many ambassadors are going to turn up. And all 20 of you don't gang on one. This conference is not by presentation. This conference is your presentation to your governments. They have to understand that as an organization, we control the knowledge, and with it, we have a wish. That's why we didn't want 100, 200 people coming to this conference. I wanted a very small, limited, and I got what I wanted. And it's job of you who attend these conferences to not only interact with each other, to understand what is the next step, but it's your job. You are the ambassadors. The true ambassador of human race for your governments is you in these conferences. They have to understand what they are there for, and they have to convey the message, what they can do for. And this is the essence of what these conferences we set up. Showing the knowledge takes half an hour. They come in, they don't understand, they see something and they go out. But the day, 2 days, 3 days, they are there, is for you to enlighten the diplomats. The love of knowledge is the reasons for your presence, not the food or seeing the knowledge. And you will find out a lot of work will be done by you, not by me. You asked, you have to share. Now, you got the responsibility to share. I provided the grant. The achievements in China is enormous. we see a lot of work. There is some, what you call, the same situation as we've seen with Belgian government is going on in China. Just ignore it, because these are the people who could not get the technology and entered into false agreements because they thought they can get their hand on it, but they don't realize we are much cleverer, and the things goes by the soul of the man. And we see the same process as what we see with the Belgians, with a few Chinese. But in fact, 1.4 billion would not be touched by a handful of what are called incompetent people. In these conferences, it's you who has to shine, not me. I have passed the candle. This is the process. Some of you might wonder, why am I there? Why I turned up to be here? You're not there just because you had the money. You're there because your soul has already was decided to be there, because you will understand in the future. And it is the need of us to change. And since 2011, some 8 years ago, you wanted to have. I've trained you for 6 years. Now it's a short time. You transfer the ethos, the essence of the knowledge, not the machine on the table. That's just the magic. It's the card, or what they call a cup with a coin under. I'm just a magician moving the cups. You are the coin. And do not come to these conferences you think I'm going to see something. You come in there to serve something. And sorry about that. You didn't choose, your soul has. The new technologies are so powerful that we will change the course in such a rapid way, but a good way, clean way, without harming anything. The interaction of the systems for energy transfer, it's so simple that I think Tesla will turn on his grave. It's our job to do, and it's the power of the knowledge. Any other question?
Mamy koniec tłumaczenia na dzisiaj. Mieliśmy 8 minut dłużej. No, zapraszam. Może ktoś chce coś dodać, coś powiedzieć, bo myślę, że ten warsztat jest taką zapowiedzią tego, co będzie w przyszłości, krótkiej przyszłości, tak więc aż się po prostu w głowie nie mieści, ale myślę, że powoli, krok po kroku zdołamy przez to przebrnąć, przez ten okres przejściowy. Mamy pytanie, czy konferencja w Wiedniu się odbyła już? Z tego co wiem, to dzisiaj się miała zakończyć. Chyba, nie wiem, może Przemek jest, on będzie więcej wiedział na ten temat.
Dokładnie. Od piątku 27 do niedzieli 29, także pewnie teraz gdzieś już się skończyła parę godzin temu i myślę, że na następnych warsztatach czwartkowych, które będziemy omawiać z tygodniowym opóźnieniem, ale myślę, że nawet na żywo w przyszły czwartek, jeśli coś będzie ujawnione, to po odsłuchaniu tego warsztatu postaram się coś tam wspomnieć na bieżąco, co się wydarzyło z takich, można powiedzieć, ciekawych informacji, które dr Keshe będzie przekazywał w czwartek.
No, dzięki Przemku. Nie wiem, są jeszcze pytania jakieś? Mamy dzisiaj trochę dłużej, tak więc zapraszam.
Okej, to może ja tradycyjnie postaram się parę wątków wytłuścić tutaj, przypomnieć o czym był ten fragment warsztatu. Mieliśmy cały czas temat przewodni, jak w każdym warsztacie jest właśnie Cash Foundation Global, czyli to ramię finansowania działające na giełdzie. Tutaj dr Keshe też przedstawiał, mówił o 3 elementach, o tym, że jest założona, KF jest założona w Chinach, jest też w Europie, jest też w Stanach, więc są te 3, można powiedzieć, elementy tej układanki, która tutaj nam się cały czas na przestrzeni tych warsztatów coraz klarowniej pokazuje, jak to wszystko działa. Jeśli chodzi o Cash Foundation Global, no to już jest na giełdzie ta nazwa firmy Mark Ray, która, co było przedstawione wcześniej na warsztacie, wszystko funkcjonuje. Strona tej firmy kfgl.global też jest operacyjna, tam można się pytać, dowiadywać o chociażby kupowanie akcji, czy jakiekolwiek inne kwestie. Było też dużo o tym, co się dzieje, o rozwoju w Chinach, o tym, że szpital w Chinach się otworzył, który zajmuje się Alzheimerem, Parkinsonem, epilepsją. Nazwa tego szpitala będzie pewnie na przyszłych warsztatach ujawniana. Tam działy się też niesamowite rzeczy, gdzie człowiek po 3 dniach pobytu tam wstał z wózka inwalidzkiego i był w stanie chodzić. I myślę, że to jest pokazanie tego, jak może działać ta technologia i to, co dr Keshe mówi, w Chinach będzie testowana w kolejnych i kolejnych ośrodkach, takich też, które są specjalnie budowane ku temu, żeby dalej badać i przekonywać się o limitach i możliwościach tej technologii. Było też pytanie o niezapominanie, niewybaczanie. Tutaj dr Keshe zrobił z tego dość szeroką wypowiedź, wykład też z przykładami tego, co się działo na przestrzeni fundacji, że mówił w takich słowach, że nie mamy z jednej strony prawa wybaczać, chociażby dlatego, że żeby te osoby, które za tym stoją, wiedziały, że zrobiły coś złego, wiedziały, że nie można tego robić innym, żeby nie myślały, że tak jest okej, żeby nie powielały tego i w pewien sposób pozwalając na to, żeby te osoby tak robiły, też częściowo można powiedzieć, przykładamy się do tego, ponosimy jakąś odpowiedzialność, a fakt, że nie zapominamy, też jest po to, żeby nie popełnić tego samego błędu po raz kolejny, więc to jest zawsze nauczka z jednej strony, a z drugiej strony zyskanie jakiejś świadomości, która pozwala nam podjąć decyzję, czy przystaję na to, czy coś z tym robię, zgadzam się, czy nie. Też było odniesienie do zrozumienia tego z poziomu duszy, gdzie dusze nie cierpią, tylko znajdują balans, czyli po raz kolejny to cierpienie będące atrybutem tego, czego doświadczamy w fizyczności. I dlatego właśnie poprzez wyjaśnienie to, które przed chwilą słyszeliśmy, pan Keshe nie pozwalał chociażby Sterlingowi na to, co robił i tutaj też chyba było nawiązanie do tej sprawy też z pedofilią Snowden, o ile dobrze kojarzę, też była wiadomość w mediach, że niby ta osoba, która była osadzona powiesiła się w celi, więc widzimy, że tak jak tutaj doktor Keshe przytaczał liczby, około 120 000 ludzi było zaangażowanych w to wszystko i liczba dzieci, która została ocalona poprzez to, że nie zostały na to przypięte oczy, tylko ta sprawa została wzięta gdzieś tam dalej i ludzie pociągnięci do odpowiedzialności, gdzieś tam ten proceder wychodzi na wierzch i jest ukracany. Też było wyjaśnienie, dlaczego nie mówimy o technologii jako o wolnej energii, bo właśnie Sterling, Czerwony Krąg i inne osoby w to zamieszane właśnie w ten proceder transportu dzieci, sprzedaży dzieci, w taki sposób właśnie wolną energią nazywali te dzieci, czy gdzieś tutaj jest właśnie skojarzenie między tym, jak ci oprawcy nazywali chociażby tą technologię, która miała być kolejnym takim, można powiedzieć, bezbronnym dzieckiem, które chcieli przygarnąć, ograbić, sprzedać. I dzięki tym sprawom, tak jak mówiliśmy, pokazaniu tego światu, brania udziału w tym, w ujawnianiu sprawców, fundacja przyczyniła się właśnie do ocalenia, jak dr Keshe wyliczał, milionów dzieci. Mówi też o problemach z dostawami, o tym, że te produkty, które są zamawiane, chociażby generatory prądu, jest pewnego rodzaju sabotaż, próba dyskredytacji poprzez właśnie niedostarczanie zamówień i te rzeczy dalej mają miejsce na przestrzeni fundacji. Wcześniej słyszeliśmy o Włoszech, wiemy też z wykładów, co się działo w Ganie, jak pewne osoby były przekupione i widzimy, że to dalej się kontynuuje, ta infiltracja, można powiedzieć, różnych środowisk. Gdzieś środowiska fundacji dalej ma miejsce i są tego pewne efekty i działania, które wychodzą na wierzch, jak dr Keshe zaczyna powoli, tak jak mówił, już po tym długim czasie wrócił z Chin, zaczyna się z powrotem zajmować badaniami i także przyglądaniu się sprawom, na które nie mógł gdzieś tam wcześniej poświęcać czasu, zostały w rękach zaufanych osób, które dokonywały różnych wyborów, można powiedzieć, też nazywał politycznie do zwolnienia Boltona w Stanach Zjednoczonych. Mówił, że to był dobry wybór. Także widzimy, że ta polityka tutaj cały czas się przeplata. Mówił też o tym, że właśnie liderzy, którzy wyrządzają różne szkody fizyczności, mają w pewien sposób przechlapane, bo gdy zabijają innych, wtedy ta dusza jest wolna może więcej niż fizyczność i chociażby przykładem na to, jak to wszystko się balansuje na przestrzeni pokoleń właśnie tych liderów, którzy maczają ręce w tych różnych rzeczach związanych z właśnie zabijaniem czy handlem dziećmi. Widzimy, jak ci przywódcy na przykładzie chociażby Saddama Husajna tutaj też mówił, jak kończą chociażby dzieci tych przywódców w pewien sposób balansując to całe złoto, czego dopuścili się ich przodkowie. A tutaj z drugiej strony Keshe pokazuje, jak powinno działać, że narody powinny się wspierać chociażby technologicznie, tak jak przy lądowaniu na Księżycu. Nawiązywał tutaj do Indii, które uczą się na swoich błędach. Były próby posadzenia chyba łazika czy jakiegoś tam sprzętu, tak samo Iran, gdzie przecież Stany i Rosja już od dawna to robią, mogłyby się podzielić technologią i nie patrzeć na te wszystkie klęski, niepowodzenia, to jak pieniądze są wyrzucane i że tak powiem, te kraje muszą w izolacji przechodzić przez proces tej samej nauki, której doświadczyły Stany i Rosjanie w tym wyścigu kosmicznym, który odbył się już kilka dekad temu. Tak samo właśnie te trzy odnogi fundacji finansujące w Stanach, w Europie i w Chinach, one będą się dzielić wiedzą i razem osiągać sukcesy bez jakichkolwiek potrzeby patentów, tylko poprzez właśnie wolną wymianę wiedzy i informacji, po to, żeby każdy mógł wspólnie osiągać te sukcesy, które jak wiemy są po to, żeby przezwyciężyć te problemy, które od długiego czasu trapią albo zaczęły trapić ludzkość. Było nawiązanie, jeśli chodzi o nową technologię, bo w zasadzie tutaj cały warsztat dr Keshe podaje przykłady tej nowej technologii, o której mówi tutaj o telefonach i o samochodach elektrycznych, których nie trzeba będzie już ładować w zasadzie tylko raz, kiedy schodzą z fabryki. To wszystko przedstawiał zresztą tutaj ten problem aut elektrycznych, że obecny model, jaki istnieje, czyli na przykład spalanie różnego rodzaju paliw, żeby uzyskać tą energię elektryczną, później przesłanie tej energii, mamy tutaj dużo stratę i łatwiej byłoby to robić, skoro chcemy pozbyć się zanieczyszczenia, robić to w sposób wydajniejszy, a nie mniej wydajny niż to obecnie się dzieje, chociażby przez spalanie ropy w silniku. To paliwo jest spalane gdzie indziej i po drodze są te wszystkie straty. Tutaj widzimy rozwiązanie, jakie technologia jest w stanie zapewnić chociażby w tej sferze, pozbyć się tego problemu zanieczyszczenia poprzez właśnie te duże elektrownie. Była też mowa o projekcie, który dr Keshe zrobił w koledżu, o samozasilających się chipach. Porównywał tutaj budowę takich systemów do budowy ludzkiego ciała, czyli tego, że powinny posiadać nerkę, wątrobę, żołądek, skórę, coś, co dostanie Huawei. Już te rozmowy się odbyły i to myślę, można sobie porównać nerkę do pewnego rodzaju filtracji, zamiany, przemiany wątrobę do tej funkcji, jaką posiada, czyli magazynowania energii, żołądek do tego, co jest tym silnikiem, który generuje tą energię, i skóry, która jest właśnie tym, co otacza, zamyka, zapewnia tą jedność tego systemu, który pracuje w pewnego rodzaju izolacji, jest sam w sobie, można powiedzieć, otoczony, czy po prostu sprowadzony do funkcji jakiejś tam jednostki ograniczonej właśnie tym, co nazywamy skórą. Te systemy w Chinach, tutaj dr Keshe cały czas rozszerzał, co to jest ta nowa technologia, czyli koniec operacji na otwartym sercu, czy zastrzyków, chociażby też w zastosowaniu, jak obecnie mamy maszyny do dializ. Tutaj była mowa o balansowaniu emocji, tego aspektu psychologicznego, a także fizycznego, czyli działaniu na całym spektrum, tak, kiedy dany organ może się reperować, krew jest oczyszczana i w ten sposób ta technologia, którą nazywa black box z angielskiego, czyli pudełko, którego zawartości nie widzimy. Tutaj mówił, że właśnie serca tych systemów, same te systemy nie będą otwierane, pokazywane w środku. Mówi tutaj dość tajemniczo, że to z nami pracują, wiedzą czemu. No my możemy się domyślać, co jest w środku, to co w środku każdej żyjącej istoty, skoro tutaj dr Keshe mówił o tym, że posiadają one duszę, więc myślę, że tam znajdziemy w pewnym sensie, w pewien sposób właśnie odzwierciedlenie duszy tego systemu. Po raz kolejny było tutaj nawiązanie do aut elektrycznych, tych strat prądu, zanieczyszczeń, baterii w telefonach, które oprócz tego, że nie będą potrzebowały ładowania, to będą w stanie pochłaniać te wszystkie szkodliwe fale, o których teraz się mówi, wiadomo 5G, czy nawet też starsze generacje sieci komórkowych. Cały czas mówimy o tych falach, które gdzieś tam rezonują z różnymi komórkami, organami w naszym ciele i mają niejednokrotnie, jest to też udowodnione naukowo, pewnego rodzaju wpływ. Koniec z dializami, czyli właśnie to oczyszczanie krwi, reperowanie się nerki w trakcie tego procesu. Po raz kolejny ten przykład pacjenta, który po 3 dniach stał z wózka inwalidzkiego. Była mowa właśnie o tym, żeby lekarze spojrzeli na emocje tych osób, z którymi mają do czynienia, bo w pewien sposób ci pacjenci przychodzą z wyrokiem śmierci. Ktoś im powiedział, że cierpią na przewlekłą chorobę, która jest niewyleczalna i będzie tylko postępować w jednym kierunku śmierci, a tutaj dokonuje się proces zmiany tego kierunku, na jaki wcześniej nastawiony był pacjent, i przy tym uzdrowieniu potrzebny jest pewnego rodzaju nowy plan. Ta wojna w głowie pacjenta się kończy, te 2 lata na przykład zmarnowane na wózku i brak nadziei, który miał w głowie, zamieniają się w coś zupełnie odwrotnego, więc tutaj też zmienia się pozycja mózgu wraz z pozycją fizyczności, jaką ona przyjęła, i przy zmianie tego warunku, zwłaszcza nagłym, tak jak było to na przykład kiedyś na przykładzie cukrzyka, który też zaczął ślepnąć i w momencie, kiedy przywrócono mu wzrok, też mówił o zawrotach głowy. Tu podobna historia. Dr Keshe mówił o tym, żeby zwracać uwagę na ten aspekt emocjonalny, co ci lekarze wchodzą, jak czują się, jak myślą, jakie emocje są w tych pacjentach i w jaki sposób można je zrozumieć i zrozumieć także ten proces, który przechodząc w sposób dość nagły nie daje też czasu tej fizyczności, żeby w odpowiedni sposób się dostosowała, przesunęła z powrotem w pozycję, w której wcześniej funkcjonowała w sposób bardziej, można powiedzieć, harmonijny, gdzie te wszystkie elementy maszyny działały jak należy. Mówi tutaj o tej właśnie potrzebie, o tym, że ci lekarze zwracają im nadzieję, a oni, ci pacjenci powoli się zmieniają, dostosowują do tego nowego warunku, nowej perspektywy, która się pojawia. I tu przypomnienie też wróciliśmy do tego, że właśnie wszechświat działa na tej skali mikro, tego co mniejsze, im mniejsze można powiedzieć, tym silniejsze, potężniejsze. Można powiedzieć przykład chociażby bomby atomowej działającej na poziomie atomu, a tu mówimy o jeszcze bardziej wyższych, można powiedzieć energetycznie wymiarach, czyli chociażby plazmie neutronu, jak tutaj dr Keshe mówił, która posiada niespożyte wkłady energii, a nie tutaj kontrast w drugą stronę, nie ta skala makro, czyli coraz większe maszyny, czołgi, samoloty, lotniskowce i tak dalej, czyli to wszystko, co w tej skali mikro w zasadzie nie ma tutaj skali porównania, jeśli chodzi o siłę, o energię, z jaką mamy do czynienia. Był też kolejny temat zastosowania technologii grafiki 3D, drukujące przedmioty, na przykład kubki czy rolki dla dzieci, które posiadają właśnie tą kolektywną duszę żywej istoty. Kolejne zastosowanie, już brak potrzeby podlewania tych tysięcy hektarów, kilometrów kwadratowych upraw ciekłą plazmą, jak widzieliśmy to do tej pory na przykładzie chociażby publikacji, czy to w Plasma Times, w magazynie naukowym, i dr Keshe mówi o zmianie tego podejścia na już nie działanie chociażby z poziomu tej ciepłej plazmy i fizyczności wody, tylko elewowanie duszy tych nasionek, to żeby właśnie wzrastały w zapewnionych im warunkach. W zasadzie to już na koniec ostatnie 3 takie punkty. Pierwszy to był właśnie te systemy do zatrzymywania komet, asteroid i niebezpiecznego promieniowania słonecznego. Teraz ten weekend też mieliśmy, to było opisywane w różnego rodzaju mediach, że było spodziewane silne promieniowanie w skali od 1 do 5, w skali chyba 2 bodajże, promieni magnetycznych właśnie ze Słońca, które miały wpływać na różnego rodzaju też działanie systemów GPS czy komunikacyjnych tutaj na Ziemi, a także na wszystko, co się na niej znajduje, więc chociażby jeden przykład tego, gdzie ta technologia mogłaby być bezpiecznie zastosowana. Brak łóżek, czy chociażby potrzeby spania, czyli ten transfer energii do duszy i naładowanie w samym czasie tej fizyczności, która już wchodzi w warunek, gdzie nie potrzebuje fizycznego snu. I na koniec ostatni temat tego fragmentu, czyli konferencje, gdzie rządy i poszukiwacze wiedzy spotykają się razem. Mają być one dość małego rozmiaru. Tak jak mówiliśmy wcześniej przy tym pytaniu, które się pojawiło, że właśnie w ten weekend ta pierwsza i w sumie jedyna w Europie, ale pierwsza w serii konferencji, które będą się odbywać na całym świecie, są właśnie zaaranżowane w sposób taki, że jest to mały rozmiar, mała liczba osób i szansa właśnie dla poszukiwaczy wiedzy, aby przyszli, świecili swoją wiedzą i swoim etosem, swoją poprawnością właśnie w szerzeniu wiedzy, w interakcji z przedstawicielami rządów, którzy są tam po to, żeby dowiedzieć się o tej technologii, wysłuchać tego, jakie ona posiada możliwości, ale także porozmawiać w swoim rodzimym języku z przedstawicielami, dwie strony w zasadzie, przedstawiciele rządu i poszukiwacze wiedzy, którzy sami doświadczyli i są w stanie, tak jak dr Keshe mówi, to jest miejsce dla nich, żeby oni świecili i przekazywali wiedzę, a nie tym razem, żeby w centrum był dr Keshe, jak to zazwyczaj na miejsce. I w zasadzie to koniec tego fragmentu i mojego streszczenia z tego, także dzięki, zapraszam do pytań, rozmowy, dyskusji, jak zwykle. Dzięki.
Dzięki Przemku za streszczenie. Tak więc nie mamy pytań. Tak więc na dzisiaj zakończymy. To były 297 warsztaty poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim z dnia niedzieli 29 września 2019 roku. Tak więc dziękuję za przetłumaczenie, za streszczenie, za to, że byliście tutaj i słuchaliście tej wiedzy. Tak więc zapraszam na kolejne spotkanie już w czwartek. Tak więc dobrej nocy i do usłyszenia. Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.